The Canada-US border represents a unique relationship between our countries and our people. $2.7 billion in trade crosses the border every day, and that trade is essential to the economies and well-being of both Canadians and Americans. In response to the ongoing COVID-19 global pandemic, Canada and the United States are temporarily restricting all non-essential travel across the Canada-US border. Travelers will no longer be permitted to cross the border for recreation or tourism. In both of our countries, we are encouraging people to stay home. This collaborative and reciprocal measure is an extension of that prudent approach. Essential travel will continue unimpeded. The Canadian and U.S. governments recognize that it is critical for us to preserve supply chains between our two countries. These supply chains ensure that food, fuel, and life-saving medicines reach people on both sides of the border. Supply chains, including trucking, will not be affected by this new measure. Canadians and Americans also cross the border every day to do essential work or for other urgent or essential reasons. That will not be affected either. Therefore, Canada and the United States will temporarily restrict all non-essential travel across the Canada-US border. Now, let me just add that this agreement was concluded this morning in a phone call between the Prime Minister and the President. I spoke twice yesterday with Vice President Mike Pence and this morning with Secretary Pompeo. Minister Blair has been speaking often with his U.S. counterpart, Secretary Wolf, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and he will speak further about that. This morning, I also held a phone call with all of the premiers of the provinces and territories. We spoke about this and many other issues. Later today, my colleague Jean-Yves Duclos and I will be having a conversation with the leaders of the opposition. Let me just conclude by saying that we all now know that the advice of our experts is that this situation will get worse before it gets better. What is also true is that as a country, we are rising to the challenge. Individually, collectively, we can do this. Let's take care of ourselves and each other. Everyone who can stay home should stay home. The decisions that each one of us takes today will save lives.